Welcome to the first installment, I guess, of this podcast. I don't know what I'm going to call it because it's literally a late night / early morning podcast. But I'm just going to find random, I guess, stuff to talk about. And, let's see here. Sports news. Okay, here we go. Going to ESPN.com for this mess. Eesh. This is scoffed. Let's see here. So let's go with let's talk about the NFL honors, because I'd seen that and I was like, it says here's the thing. So it says NFL honors moves to Thursday night during Super Bowl week. Now that to me just means that NFL honors, they're not really going to do much with it going forward. That's just how it looks in like my eyes as a football fan, NFL fan, more or less Bears fan. But it says here the NFL honors the primetime television. Hold on, let me read this real quick. So if I find the so let's see the Hall of Fame inductees. Heard about the Bears firing Nagy and the GM. Thank God I was not trying to deal with that for another season. Nagy, I'm sorry, I really wasn't. I wasn't about to do that. Okay, here we go. These are the nominees, not the inductees, but so the first time nominees include Anquan Bolden, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Steve Smith, Jake Long, Nick Mangold, Antonio Cromartie, Robert Mathis, Vince Wilfork, and DeMarcus Ware. Now the guys that I think deserve it, the ones that I think deserve it are Hester, Steve Smith, Mathis, Wilfork, and DeMarcus Ware. Let's start with Devin Hester. He broke the record in the house that Dion built. Multiple time Pro Bowler. That crazy opening kickoff in Super Bowl 41. Me being a Bears fan, it's like, how do you top that? Now since Devin Hester set that bar for kick and punt returners, coaches are looking for the next Devin Hester trying to think. Devin Hester, Dante Hall. I'm trying to think of who played for the Packers. They're really cool. They're really good when the Packers had won the Super Bowl in '96. So I'm over here. Desmond Howard. Like those guys. My opinion is once you find that guy that can change the momentum of a football game based on just special teams, then you will have that guy in your lineup. No matter if he's just a kick returner, just a punt returner, or if he's doing both. To me, that what makes a good NFL career. When you can have a positive impact for as long as Hester did it. Andre Johnson, big physical wide receiver coming out of Miami. He was the kind of guy that if you threw it up to him, it's like Randy Moss. If you threw it up to him, he can go get it because he's big, physical, and he had the speed to outrun those when he caught the ball. He was the kind of guy that pretty much molded his game, like patterned his game after Moss and like every other receiver that's come before Andre. So I definitely think he deserves it besides Devin Hester. So what do you say about Steve Smith? The heart and soul for the Panthers for so many years. Then he gets cut, signs with the Ravens for the rest of his career. In that one game when he was playing with the Ravens against the Panthers, he made the Panthers pay for cutting him. Anytime you can do something like that to affect your former team, for them pretty much disrespecting your ability on the field, and me personally, I think that is one of the best ways to get revenge on your former team. No matter who it may be, no matter what it may be. Now, Steve Smith. Steve Smith. Let's start with DeMarcus Ware. What more can you say about a guy who's played like Steve Smith? He played the majority of his career with Dallas. And then finally got a ring in 2015 with the Broncos. To me, that isn't a ring chaser. That's a guy who wants to help a football team by any means necessary, even if it meant costing years of his career to do it. Him, Von Miller, Talib, Harris, everybody on their defense, besides those guys, deserved to win a championship for Denver. Vince Wilfork, majority of his career with the Patriots, winding down his time with the Texans. He was a big guy, so he was the cause of the butt fumble, if you remember that. He was the guy that you could plug him in on the inside, like inside on the left or the right of the D-line, and he would cause havoc. He would cause havoc to any offensive line or quarterback or whoever was running his way. Now, Robert Mathis spent the entirety of his career with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts. One a Super Bowl with him in 2007. The man, he, like, not taking anything away from Camardi Mangold or like Jake Long or Anquan Bolden, but honestly, you look up to guys that more or less tried to help your football team, then you have them there no matter what it took. Now, I'm just going to run the list, and I'm done with this podcast for the night because I need some sleep or something like that. The remaining field of the Pro Football Hall of Fame nominees. Let's start with the quarterbacks. And you can debate amongst yourselves, whoever watches this podcast, who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame and who doesn't. Randall Cunningham, Jake Delhomme, Boomer Esiason, Jeff Garcia, Dave Krieg, Donovan McNabb, and the late Steve McNair. Running backs. You can argue if Allstott was a running back or a fullback. Sean Alexander, Mike Allstott, Tiki Barber. You can look these guys up to Ernest Biner, Larry Centers, Corey Dillon, Eddie George, Priest Holmes, Steven Jackson, Jamal Lewis, Eric Metcalf, Lorenzo Neal, Fred Taylor, Herschel Walker, Ricky Waters, and Brian Westbrook. Now for the quarterbacks, I think it should be McNabb, Esiason, and Cunningham. Just my opinions for running backs. Allstott, Barber, George, Jamal Lewis. Now wide receivers, I'm just going to name like 4 from each, I guess. Brown, Driver, Ochocinco, Hines Ward. Tight ends, I'm going to go with Brent Jones, Dallas Clark, Heath Miller, and Wesley Walls. Offensive lineman, I'm going to go with Willie Anderson, Kreutz, Jeff Saturday, Eric Williams. D lineman, Abraham, Hampton, Simeon Rice, Bryant Young. Linebackers, Cornelius Bennett, Lance Briggs, Teddy Bruschi, London Fletcher. The D-backs, not defensive backs. This is where it gets interesting because there's some good names on this list. But me personally, Dre Bly, Rodney Harrison, Asante Samuel, Charles Tillman. Now punter/kicker. I'll just name a punter and a kicker, pretty much. I'm gonna say Gary Anderson, and Ryan Longwell, or Landetta. Now special teams. What am I saying? Special teams. And then I'm done. Cribs and Brian Mitchell. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm done. Peace. I'll see you later. I'll try again. These podcasts are gonna happen Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So be on the lookout for that. Alright. Peace.